Welcome to the Militia Gaming community. I'm Trigger and I'm back with another wrong build video. This time the 2002 Nissan Skyline GTR Limited Edition, aka Eddie's Skyline. Let's go! Alright, before we get into the video, I just want to take a moment to say thank you. I know I do this at the beginning of some of the videos, but I don't know if I do it enough, and I don't know if YouTubers in general do it enough, so thank you so much for watching. You could be literally watching anything else on YouTube, but you're here with me. And to thank you for that, you are welcome to send me a DM at any time. I will answer DMs on Instagram, Twitter, or Discord, and then I also have a stream every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific time, so definitely check that out. You can ask me questions in chat there. All right, let's get into the video. So the first thing I like to do in these videos is give you the fastest engine. And the fastest engine for this Skyline is actually pretty tricky because there's two engines that perform almost identically, and I can't really determine which engine is the fastest between the two. So the first one is the 592 horsepower forged 2.6 liter inline six. And then the second one is the 591 horsepower 4.4 liter V8. Now, because this is a Skyline and there is so much heritage, so much history here, I'm going to go with the 2.6 liter inline six. That's the classic RB26 in a forged fashion. So a forged RB26 is the go-to for this one. I like the way it sounds, and it's just classic, and we have to keep a Skyline with this engine in it. We can't throw a V8 in this car. All right, with that forged 2.6 liter, I ran a 259.7 on Arian, which puts it actually in the middle of my Arian leaderboard. And then I ran a 244.1 on Sonic, which again is just an average time. This car's main issue for racing is that it doesn't do anything very well. That's not to say that it does things poorly, because it doesn't. It's okay at cornering, it's okay at launching, it's okay at accelerating to top speed. It's just okay all around, and thus the very average times on these two courses. This is very similar to the other R34 in the game. They are both just average race cars. So with that said, here's the track build. 592 horsepower forged 2.6 liter inline six, Ultimate Plus engine parts, Ultimate dual turbo, 5x3 pound NOS, super track suspension, elite brakes, elite race tires, elite plus clutch, elite 7-speed gearbox, and the super track differential. I go with NOS refills and duration every time, and the steering sensitivity needs to be at 0, downforce -3, traction control off, and drift style on gas. All right, moving on to drag racing. Drag racing in Need for Speed Heat is often tied to the car's ability on the racetrack. Launching and accelerating through the gears is most important for both of those things, so it makes sense that this car is not the best drag car. Its quarter-mile time is 8.9, and its 0 to 60 is 2.0. That's actually in the bottom third of the cars that I've tested, so it's definitely a below average drag car. Even with NOS, it's such a slow launch that the race will be over the second it starts. But if you want to drag race it, here's your build. 592 horsepower forged engine, Ultimate Plus engine parts, dual turbo, and remember to change the NOS over to the 1x15, super track suspension, elite brakes, elite drag tires, elite plus clutch, elite 7-speed gearbox, and the super track differential, NOS refills, and NOS duration. And the steering sensitivity I always run at the same as my track build, that's 0, downforce -5, traction control off, and drift style on gas. Alright, moving on to the drift build. This car is an all-wheel drive car, so I threw on my all-wheel drive drift setup to see how it performs, and it's perfect. It handles very well without the need to handbrake to transition from left to right. I had a blast with this car in its drift form, but it doesn't score quite as well as the other cars. It's a car that I really love drifting with because of the control you have, but without the proper skill, it will be hard to use as a drift car for the events. There are lots of other higher scoring cars in the game, but it's great for making drift clips, so here's the build. 592 horsepower forged engine again, Ultimate Plus engine parts, dual turbo, 5x3 pound NOS. Now here's where it gets tricky. Super showcase suspension, elite brakes, elite drift tires, elite plus clutch, elite 7-speed gearbox, and the Sport Drift differential. If you use the Pro Drift differential, it has a little bit too much bite and it needs a little bit less traction, so go with the Sport Drift differential. NOS refills and duration, but not really that relevant in drifting. And then of course you always need your steering sensitivity +5, downforce -5, traction control off, and drift style on gas. And lastly, let's take a look at the off-road abilities. As always, I tested this car's off-road ability by running it through HTV2 and Rumble, and then adding those times together before placing it on my off-road leaderboard. At HTV2, this GTR ran a 152.9, and if you remember from previous videos, 152 is sort of the cutoff between good off-road cars and bad ones. And then at Rumble, it ran a 316.2, which again is just average for that course. The combined time is 509.1, and on that leaderboard, it puts it right in the middle. Actually, kind of near the bottom, but in the middle. So, at least this car is consistent. It's consistently average at track racing, drag racing, drifting. It's average because it doesn't really score that high, but it feels really, really fun to drive. So I'll give it a little tick. It's like a B+ at drifting, but everywhere else it's just average. Well, with that, let's give you the off-road build. 592 horsepower forged engine, Ultimate Plus engine parts, dual turbo, and 5x3 pound NOS like always. Super rally suspension, elite brakes, elite off-road tires, Elite Plus clutch, Elite 7-speed gearbox, and the Super Rally differential, refills and duration as always, and I keep the steering sensitivity high for off-road builds, and the downforce is -5. Traction control is off, and drift style is on gas. And with that, guys, I'm going to end the video. I really appreciate everyone's support on this series. Like I said on the last one, you guys have been amazing, and make sure you comment which cars you would like me to do in the future, and keep in mind I have a full list of all the builds that I've done, so make sure if you're requesting a car, it's one that I haven't done, and the list is on the link in the description down below. All right, thanks guys for watching. Shout out to all the subs. I will catch you on the next one. Trigger out.